Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's I, the Reluctant Gringo, back again with another video. Hey, I just wanted to give a quick update. We're looking at some box office numbers here, going into what is the final weekend before Christmas, and then you got the Christmas holiday. It just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good all around for Hollywood, and we're going to kind of get into some of that. But this video is really going to focus a little bit on the Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom sort of early box office returns. We had about $4.5 million in Thursday previews, which is not exactly a lot for a movie that released in multiple countries already. And as you know, I've already seen it. I've already put out my review. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. I'll have it linked in the description below. But we're looking at Aquaman 2, and it's tracking to do less in its opening weekend than the Marvels, which is surprising, but not surprising, I guess. People are just sort of tired of it. The DC universe is over. It doesn't matter. It's going to get rebooted, whatever that looks like. But it's only going to make around $37 to $43 million domestically. It really didn't do that much internationally. Again, like I said, I've seen it internationally. I wasn't impressed. I think it's one of the worst movies I've seen this year. I think it could be the worst movie. I've seen some pretty bad ones. Exorcist Believer, The Flash, The Marvels. Those are all terrible movies. But this one might be the worst, just because of how it treats the fans, how it treats the source material, how it becomes such a lecture, a political lecture, a social lecture. It just might be one of the worst, if not the worst. It is one of the worst, but it could be the worst movie of the year. Like I said, if you want to check out my review on Aquaman 2 and the Lost Kingdom, like I said, I'll leave the link in the description below. If you're looking for a movie this weekend, look, I got 2 suggestions for you. There's a bunch of stuff out there. Well, actually, I got 3 suggestions for you because I know families have different tastes, but if you're looking for something, there's a few movies out there, right? So if you want to see Aquaman 2, hey, go see Aquaman 2. I warned you. If you're looking for something family friendly, something that's going to make you laugh, and now Illumination, they do the Despicable Me movies and things like that. They've had some really good animation films, really funny ones. They got one called Migration that's out. Might be something you want to take a look at, check out. I haven't seen it myself yet, and I do plan on seeing it hopefully within the next couple of weeks. It looks fun. For me, I think if you're going to go see a movie that's already out, again, Wonka. I'll leave that link in the description below as well for my review on Wonka, which I thoroughly enjoyed that movie from beginning to end. I loved it. I can't wait to see it again, actually. And I will be seeing it again because the other movie I would recommend called The Iron Claw. Now, I know not everybody's a wrestling fan, but hear me out. The Iron Claw is not releasing in Mexico or anywhere south of Mexico where I travel. So I won't be able to see it in a theater. I'll have to get creative, if you know what I mean, to be able to see it because this is a movie that I really do want to see. It is a movie about the wrestling family, the Von Erichs, a very tragic story. I mean, it's a tough story. It's tragic. It's filled with drama. It's filled with family tension. If you don't know who the Von Erichs are, they're one of the most legendary wrestling families. They come out of the late 70s, early 80s. They had the territory around in Houston, Texas, sort of southeast Texas territory. Very famous. During that time, these kids, they were rock stars. They were absolute rock stars. I won't spoil it, but if you know anything about wrestling, for me, this might be the most tragic story in all of wrestling. Maybe even more so than the Benoit story, the Chris Benoit story, and I won't get into that. If you can get past the whole idea that it's about wrestling, believe me, I think this movie is going to be something that really impresses people, and you see some award nominations out of it. But if wrestling's not your thing, and Aquaman 2 is not your thing, and Migration is not your thing, again, for me, my go-to movie right now is Wonka. And again, I can't wait to see it again. I will be seeing it again. My kids are down here for Christmas visiting. And so, when we go to the movies, that's what we're going to go see. We're going to go see Wonka. My wife and I, we can't wait to actually say, hey, this was an awesome movie. We're going to show it to you. And it's tracking. It's doing some really good money. It's about $160 million worldwide. 68% of that is international box office. So take it for what it's worth. It's doing very, very well internationally. And I think it's going to have legs. I think it's going to be the surprise winner. I don't think The Color Purple is going to do much. That's another musical. If you want to see a musical, again, Wonka is the musical to go see. I don't think George Clooney's the man in the boat or whatever they're calling that one. I don't think that's going to do much. That's only predicted to do about $3 million. You could see Wish, but I don't even know if you're going to be able to find it in theaters. And again, I wouldn't see Wish because of the disaster that it is. So you got a lot of movies out there. that are vying for competition. And that's the thing. I think the market right now is saturated. And it's really what you got to kind of look at as the market is saturated with all these choices. And there's also independent movies that are fighting for screen time for your eyeballs because they want to be nominated or they're award favorites. And so they want to be out there. They want to get as much press as possible. Again, I go to a theater for spectacle. I don't go to a theater for an independent film that I can see on YouTube later on. But overall, 2023, just not looking good in terms of box office, terms of financials. We've all heard the rumors. We've seen how much money Disney has lost. I mean, billions over the last couple of years, billions. It's not a sustainable business model. So I still stand by my prediction that Disney will begin to sell off some of its assets probably within the next year. In 2024. And I believe the primary buyers are going to be Amazon and Apple. The two giants of tech are going to be out there and they're going to start snatching some things up that they can. You've already seen Warner Brothers. They're probably going to head into bankruptcy. And this movie, Aquaman 2, is probably going to push them into bankruptcy because it's not going to make any money. It really is terrible. It's not tracking to make any money. It's tracking to do less than the Marvels, like I said, which was a historic financial flop for Disney. And so you're going to see Warner Brothers looking for a lifeline. And that lifeline's already coming in the rumored talks of a merger with Paramount, which I don't understand how that's going to work. And, I consider myself a pretty intelligent guy. Paramount has its own debt issues. They have their own financial problems. And I guess merging the two together, there might be some laws, some tax laws that allow you to write off certain debt because you're in a merger. Again, there's all sorts of laws and tax codes that they can take advantage of. And I'm sure they got a team of lawyers that are working on that right now to see if it's feasible. But I was thinking about this the other day, and really what this time reminds me of in terms of Hollywood. I remember 2008 with the housing market and that crashing. The reason that crashed was two reasons. One, the fundamentals of the market were just unhealthy. It was an unhealthy market, unhealthy financial foundation, unhealthy financial practices, coupled with hubris. And hubris in terms of the people who are running the banks, running the mortgage houses. And I see a lot of comparisons in terms of Hollywood right now. Now, I'm not saying Hollywood's going to cause a worldwide recession, far from it. What I am going to say is that you're going to start to see a lot of financial news come out of Hollywood. If you're a fan of that kind of stuff, or you're interested in that kind of stuff, 2024, especially the first 6 months, are going to be very, very interesting. Warner Brothers and Paramount are not going to be the only merger that we talk about. We're going to see a lot of things sold, a lot of things bought, a lot of things merged, because the business model for Hollywood is just, it's up in the air. No one's figured it out between streaming and theaters and live action, big budget, small budget. It's been a time of hubris, and it's been a time of unhealthy financial practices in terms of making movies. I think we've all seen that. Only a few movies have been able to make the money back that they spent. And so I think we're going to see a lot of financial business moves. And I think Hollywood's in for a little bit of a shock. I think the parade, I think the party's over. I think the party of $300 million, $350 million movies is done. I think that's going to start to become more and more of a rarity. I think streaming is going to start to consolidate as well. I think you're going to see streaming platforms start to merge, sell off, close down. Again, it's just not a financially viable model at this point in time with the way they've got it set up. So they got to figure that out. And that's the end of 2023, beginning of 2024. But other than that, I just wanted to say thank you for listening. We're going to wrap this up right now and have a great holiday weekend. Have a great holiday week leading into Christmas, if that's your thing. And I'll see you guys after Christmas. And I hope everyone is well. Hope everyone has a great time. And with that, I'm still your reluctant gringo from south of the border. Salud and a huevo.